You want to develop your cosmetic products, but you don't know who to turn to. At what stage of your cosmetic product development you need to reach out to a formulator or a manufacturing facility or a contract research organization? I personally know that it is time consuming to find the right person depending on your needs. So in this video, I will answer the basic questions that are who you should consult, where you can find these cosmetic experts, and what is the cost range for working with these different professionals. Because developing a cosmetic product is not something cheap. So I will give you a list of professionals and tell you a little bit what you should expect from them. So first, the Cosmetic Safety Assessor. This expert evaluates and certifies that your product is safe for consumer use, meeting all EU safety requirements. This is a really important expert if you don't know much about safety regulation to have your product approved within the EU market. This expert must be qualified as per the Article 10 of the EU regulation EC 1223/2009. The Cosmetic Safety Assessor will be responsible for the safety assessment as part of your product information file. He will be the one that officially can sign off the PI. Then you have the regulatory consultant or expert. This expert makes sure that your product development and your documentation comply with current cosmetic regulations and market requirements. They help you to navigate within the different compliance requirements. They can also keep you updated regarding regulatory changes. Because as you may know, certain ingredients are under scrutiny, and depending on research made on this ingredient, they may be banned or they may be allowed to be used under specific conditions. Of course, they can assist you with your PIF creation and completion, and they can help you with the product notification, you know, when you have to register on the CPNP website. So the Cosmetic Safety Assessor and the regulatory experts are quite similar. So probably that in a consultant firm that is specializing in cosmetic regulation, you may find one person that can do both jobs. They can provide comprehensive support across multiple aspects of cosmetic development, from the concept to the market launch. Now let's talk about experts that work in labs. So we talk about formulators or chemists. So these experts are really important because they help you with the development and the optimization of your product formula by ensuring product stability, effectiveness, and manufacturability. Because for example, if you are able to develop a formula with a specific percentage of an ingredient, depending on the ingredient, it may be complicated to scale up the production and do big batches because this ingredient may have a maximum threshold that you cannot exceed. So this expert will guide you in your formulation journey. They will provide physical and chemical specification regarding your formula. Some information you will have to put in your PIF. For example, these informations. They assist you with stability testing protocols and will be able to answer to all your technical questions regarding your formula. Next, another type of technical experts are the quality control experts. This expert ensures that your product consistently meets quality and regulatory requirements. So of course, they help you establishing quality control procedures. They define the product specifications. They assist you with GMP compliance, and overall, they develop all the testing protocols for the quality control of your product. Next, regarding the preservation of your formula. You may want to talk to a microbiologist. This expert ensures that your product meets safety microbiological requirements. So they conduct microbiological testings. They verify that there is no bacteria or fungi that grow within your formulation. Overall, they validate the preservation system of your formula. So again, you may find laboratories that can do all, meaning formulate your product, make sure that it meets quality control requirements, and also validate the preservation effectiveness within your formula. Then, when you have your formulation, you may want to validate specific cosmetic claims. For that, you can reach out to a contract research organization that specialize in preclinical testing. So these laboratories will help you validating and strengthening your cosmetic claims by using different types of skin models, from in vitro cellular model to ex vivo skin explants. Then, when you have validated the claims at the skin model level, you may want want to reach out to a clinical contract research organization. This clinical center can do safety studies as well as efficacy trials, consumer studies, or just instrumental measurement or different tests under the umbrella of cosmetic experts evaluations. So all these studies and trials will provide claim substantiation data and also generate scientific evidence that your product has specific benefits for your consumers. Now, where to find these experts? So myself, for this video, I have searched online and find out that there are professional organizations that can provide industry standards, networking opportunities, and updated guidance in cosmetic regulations. For example, the European Federation for Cosmetic Ingredients, or the Cosmetic and Toiletry and Perfumery Association, or the National Cosmetic Association. Or you can find online platforms that list cosmetic laboratories, consulting firms within the cosmetic industry, such as LinkedIn, for example, or professional forums, or cosmeticlab.com, which is my website, where you will find a directory of contract research organizations, testing laboratories, raw material suppliers, and so on, to help you find the right laboratory depending on your needs. And finally, let's talk a little bit about the cost for all these tests, because developing a cosmetic product is not something cheap. So I find out that for a safety assessor expert, the cost per product for guidance may be between 500 to 2,000 euros. For a regulatory consultant, they charge per hour. So depending on the firm, you may have a firm that charge you 100 to 200 euros per hour. Regarding laboratory testing, again, it's really dependent on the size of the laboratory and the test that you want to perform. But more specifically, for example, for preclinical studies, per product, the budget might be between 2,000 euros up to 15,000 euros. Regarding clinical studies, you have the involvement of volunteers, you have the clinical centers that perform the assessments. Of course, the cost is more than for clinical studies. It's around 10,000 up to 50, 60,000 per study. Of course, the cost will depend on how many tests you want to perform, on how many volunteers, how many time points. So it can be higher than that. And for consumer studies, the cost may be between 3,000 to 10,000 euros. Regarding the manufacturers, it depends on the size of the manufacturing facility and also the minimum order quantity for this facility. It can go between 3,000 to 20,000 euros and more. The setup fees are usually around 500 to 5,000 euros, and the price per unit really depends on the product. Of course, I have not reached out to all the manufacturers that exist in the world. You may find manufacturing facilities or labs or consultant firms that charge less or more. There are some best practices that are the following. As I mentioned in other videos, I will always advise to get multiple quotes from different laboratories in order to compare similar tests. Of course, if you can check reviews or testimonials for this different type of expert, that's always best. How you can do that? Probably by finding forums of people that have already developed their cosmetic product. If you want to launch your product in Europe, make sure that the facility, the expert and so on are up to date regarding the EU regulations, and especially for safety assessors or quality control, that they are following the EU cosmetic regulations. And specifically for CROs, check their expertise in cosmetic. That sounds obvious, but review their testing capabilities, verify compliance with regulations, check for GCP and GLP certifications, and consider their location and timeline. So for the beginners, what I would recommend is to start with a regulatory consultant to understand all the cosmetic requirements. Work with a qualified safety assessor early in the development of your project. Connect and build relationship with laboratories. And if you struggle finding a laboratory, don't hesitate to check out the cosmeticlabs.com website. And finally, try to join professional association for networking.